Hi, I'm Jim.
I'm Rhenda.
We're Heartiness Approach.
We're happy today.
Great experience this morning. For me, it was a lot of fun to watch. Not really. I felt so bad for her. Went to the orthopedic surgeon to get her stitches out.
It's been 2 weeks tomorrow.
So the first thing, they needed to do an x-ray.
So the x-ray tech took me in there and he had to put my hand down and stuff. And, you know, of course, this was off of it. And he said, "Whoa, you don't have pins. You have a plate. And you've been screwed." Anyway, so I'm going to show you on this one. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here, and then it has like a little metal Y here. That's the plate.
Goes on the end of the bone.
1, 2, 3. So I have 7 screws.
Yeah,
7.
A lot of screws going on. So the doctor is, before he looks at it and he says, "It looks great." He hasn't taken the stitches out, and he says, "Let me see." And he goes like this.
Now, this finger on this other hand, it doesn't go down. I mean, it just kind of goes like this, and I went, "Oh!" Anyway, he wants me to move it.
He does want you to move it. Not so much yet, but in a week or so, start moving it more, building it up. But he doesn't want the scabs to form on the inside and to adhere to that plate. That could really be bad. He doesn't want that to happen.
Because he says, then we have to go back in for surgery and take the plate out later.
She doesn't want that. So anyway, it's healing great.
He's such a great doctor.
Got the stitches out. It wasn't too bad, right?
It wasn't too bad, but you know
nothing like. I think he did that so taking out the stitches would be easier.
I want to tell you though, I'm sitting there. He was kind of sitting behind me, and the doctor's sitting in front of me, and I have this hand down in my lap, and all of a sudden I feel his hand reach out and take my hand and just hold it while the stitches were out. That was so sweet.
Yeah, I knew you needed some help. After he did that finger bending, I knew he needed a lot of help. Oh, that was pretty nasty. Anyway, it's all part of it.
Onward and upward for today.
And she has promised no more cartwheels.
Although he said in the same week, he goes, "I always get people that fall. But in the same week, I had you who did a cartwheel, one person who did a back flip, and one who did a front flip. They broke their wrists, so I broke my hand." All adults
doing these things.
He goes, "You won't find me doing that."
She was probably the oldest one.
That's okay. I got an incredible gift this week. Years ago, I had a book on my shelf, and it had a recipe for ketchup that I wanted to make. But I never had enough tomatoes that I had grown, so someday I was going to get enough tomatoes to make this recipe.
And we got rid of the book.
Lost the book, loaned the book, never found the book again. Then I found it in the house that we're at. That's all I'm going to say. And
it was gifted to her.
It was gifted to me. So let me grab it. It's called Stocking Up. Some of you may have it. It's an old book. I mean,
what's the copyright?
Well, this 4th edition is 1974.
Okay.
But it's got really old pictures in it. How to do stuff that we're interested in. How to make a underground storage, and all of that. How to do your vegetables, your freezing, your canning. And yeah, we have all the newfangled stuff, but this has such great stuff in it. So let me tell you, my dad, I know I'm rambling. My dad had the most incredible recipe for Thousand Island dressing. Thousand Island dressing isn't really something we get to eat anymore. But if you take the mayonnaise that we make and Meg makes from Holler Family in our home from Nourishing Traditions and eggs from your chickens and
ketchup.
Nope, it actually is a chili sauce.
Chili sauce.
From this book, and mix it with all the other stuff. Every single piece of it is real food, and it's all mixed together, and I cannot wait to put it on my own lettuce wedge that I have grown.
Stay tuned for a recipe to come eventually.
I really am going to be doing some recipes hopefully, my goal is by the time we get our stuff moved over, so June at the latest, I'm going to be doing a bunch of condiment recipes.
Don't make promises. June's pretty solid.
June's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be salad dressings. And I know a lot of people don't want to eat all these wonderful salads because they just don't like vinaigrette or stuff. And so I'm going to be making some really good salad dressings. I still like balsamic vinegar and apple cider vinegar on it and stuff like that, but these other dressings are really, really good. Anyway, stocking up, I'll be sharing recipes from it. Jim is going to talk to us about a word that we have learned that we don't even probably say right, because you guys always tell us the right way to say
help me with the word again. It's the phyto...
Nope.
It's polyphenols, which are phytonutrients.
Yes.
So the phytonutrients being nutrients from plants.
Yes.
Polyphenols being another way to say that.
Yes.
Poly meaning many, and phenols meaning something in Latin, I'm sure.
Is plant.
Plant. Okay. So many of the nutrients from plants. That's what they're talking about.
As I've been reading and learning about the different supplements, and this is our video on growing your own supplements. As I've been learning about them, I come across words like polyphenol, phytonutrient, Flavernoids, and Carotenoids. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop just assuming that everyone knows what those are, and I'm going to start describing them so that as we do more of the nutrients that we can grow for our own supplements, we understand where we're coming from.
And as you read some of the more technical descriptions and hear the technical descriptions, they're going to use these words that Rhenda was using there, the polyphenols, the flavonoids, the carotenoids, and the phytonutrients. And when you hear those words, it's like, what are they talking about? If you're not a biochemist or nutritionist, you're going to say, I don't. Those are foreign words to me, and they are. But really, it's nutrients from plants.
So we're going to give some simple talking a little bit simple about them. So the polyphenols, there's over 500 of them.
When we talk about these nutrients in food, the polyphenols, of the 500 of them, how many of them there are and how effective they are, there's a lot of variations. It's going to have to do with how ripe the food was allowed to be, when it was picked, what kind of soil it was growing in, how it's prepared, how did you heat it up? And other what it's maybe combined with, and like,
does it taste like plastic?
Yeah. For example, in the case of things like celery, when you chop them up, you activate a lot of what's going on in them as far as the nutrients that wouldn't necessarily be activated without them being chopped up. It starts a biochemical process. So we're not going into the details of all of those. There's many of them, but as we explain about the growing your own supplements, it's also preparing your own supplements in that way, that we're going to touch on a lot of those topics that let you know the different nutrients, where they're coming from, and how to handle them, both from, do you let them ripen on the vine? Can you let them ripen on the shelf? How do you know when they're truly ripe? What's the disadvantage of some of them, being maybe very detrimental to you if you don't let them go totally ripe?
And that has a lot to do with your nightshades.
Yes.
So flavonoids.
Actually, let me say one more thing about the polynutrients. One thing that we are continuing to learn more about is elderberries. And one thing that we learned early on in our education about elderberries is that they have to be picked when they're perfectly ripe. If you pick them too early, when they're still a little bit green, you don't get the full benefit.
Well, and they can be poison.
They
can be not so good for you.
They're not so good. I mean, the quality, and I won't get into all the chemical, and I still don't understand it all in the chemical terms, but it's not fully developed. And so the value that an elderberry has is not there. it hasn't fully ripened yet, and they only stay ripe for a short while. And once you pick them, you've got really hours to process them before they start deteriorating.
If you eat the flower instead of letting it ripen to a berry, then you get a different kind of nutrient in that.
Yes.
So
a lot of variety there, but my point was they need to be picked when they're ripe, but not when they're too ripe. And so there's just this small window. Otherwise, you maybe should just go on to the next one, because they in the case of elderberries, some will ripen early, some will ripen late, and you want to pick them when they're perfectly ready. And that same principle applies to pretty much every kind of plant that you're going to pick to eat. You got to pick it at the right time to get the correct nutrients that you're trying to get out of it.
And as we talk about different plants, as we go through this series, we'll talk about those kind of things.
Yes, we'll get into those specifics. That's what you'll hear us talk about.
So flavonoids are a phytonutrient, and they, along with carotenoids, are responsible for all the vivid colors of the vegetables and the fruits.
Let me see if I can guess this. Carotenoids probably have like the yellows and the oranges?
Yes.
Whoa! How did I get that? Was it the carrot sound in there?
And they are super powerful antioxidants. And they also help your immune system. And they actually take the cell and stop the damage that's going on in them. So that's why fruits and vegetables are so important. Now you guys should see how many fruits and vegetables we eat.
Oh,
it's crazy.
We're going, I wouldn't say we're going crazy, we're going smart.
We actually had breakfast this morning with our son, a brunch, in a restaurant, and he always knows these incredible restaurants to take us to, and with super,
what was the name of the place? Food. They have a few of them. Olive and
it was a bird. Finch.
Olive and Finch.
Because it had a little finch with an olive branch. So. Anyway, we had breakfast, and we had this beautiful salad on our plate, along with the eggs and the vegetables. I had caramelized onions.
It was all, we don't...
butter.
It may not have been perfect.
It was so good.
But it's one of those places that was fairly close. Yeah, we stayed away from the bread.
Yeah, it was good. So good. And he had a big beet salad.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful. Anyway, your vegetables, your best thing that you can do is just eat this huge variety. I just want to, as I was studying the polyphenols, one of the damaging things that you can get from a polyphenol is if you're taking all your supplements in pills and you're taking a lot of them, and some of the studies that they've done.
So a variety of supplements.
No. All of one substance. You're taking a bunch of one kind.
Oh, so a large dose.
A large dose.
Okay.
And some of them, and they, in this article that I read, so it's not very specific, said that in the studies they've been, it's called kidney damage, and in the mice it grew tumors. Now, what their key is eat your vegetables and your fruits in large varieties instead of taking large varieties of supplements.
Large varieties or large quantities?
Large quantities. Of supplements.
I can't remember who said it, but I've heard it stated that poison is in the dose.
Yes.
So some things, if you have them in small amounts, they can be poison, but they don't hurt you. You increase the dosage of it, and it's going to be damaging. So in the case of some of the supplements that come in whatever form they're coming in other than natural, normal from the fruits and vegetables, then when you take those in large quantities, sometimes your body can't handle them, and they're going to be a poison in a way, like she's mentioning, where it's going to cause problems with your kidneys when your kidneys can't process them.
So as always, what we say, eat a variety of real food.
Yes.
That's what we say. We're going to just touch on one of the nutrients today that has to do with the supplements. A nutrient that has to do with it growing your own supplement.
Okay.
And I am not positive if I'm going to say it right, but Linda is the one of our viewers, and she asked us if we would touch on this one. It's Ellagic, Ellagic acid.
Okay.
Okay. And you guys are always very good to correct us in a nice way.
Some of you know a lot about these things, and so share. We really appreciate that.
I've never even heard of this, but it is a naturally occurring pheno that is known for its anti-carcinogenic. And we obviously are learning a lot more about things that help us and help everyone to not have cancer. And both
to prevent and to cure. That's what we're hearing in the stories that we're reading and learning about.
This particular Ellagin, I wish I could say it. We have looked up how to say it. It is called Ellagin Acid.
Ellagin Acid.
Ellagin Acid.
I think we got it. Ellagic.
Okay.
Acid.
It is very powerful for being a carcinogenic, but the one thing that it does is it kills
anti-carcinogenic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It kills the cells of the cancer without killing the other cells.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
What is that you can eat?
Where do you find
berries,
it?
Berries.
Like strawberries?
Strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. Now, the problem with the berries, you guys, is that today I can't go into the store and find any berries that are organic because it's not berry growing season, for one thing. Actually, if you're in California, it is.
But they're mostly coming from places that spray a lot.
Yeah, and berries really, really get sprayed a lot. Now,
and they need it. I mean, bugs love them as much as we do, so that's why they have to spray them.
When they have organic ones, and you can find them in the stores too, in the freezer section that are organic, buy those berries that are organic and eat them, and they have wonderful.
So are you saying absolutely never buy?
You know the fresh fruit that you can get that's a wash for the fruit? I've been using it. Does anyone have experience with that and know if it's a good thing to use or a bad thing to use? But sometimes if I want grapes are
So the question is, when you're buying these fruits that you know have had some kind of a spray on them with chemicals that you don't want to ingest, what do you do to get them clean enough that you are confident in eating them? Is that possible? And if so, how is that done? What are your experiences with it? Because, it's a balancing thing once again. You got the good and the bad. And if you can get them mostly clean, maybe the good is good enough to overcome the bad that might still be residual there. But definitely, if you're pulling it off the shelf and it's not organic and you don't clean it,
you're getting the pesticides.
You're getting them.
And so one of the things that, there are additional things that Ellagin Acid have. I mean, that you can get them. You can get them from walnuts and pecans. You can also get them from grapes and peaches, and pomegranates. Pomegranates are powerful fruit in itself, but berries are the number one. Berries are, when I was reading about cancer fruits, anti-cancer fruits, berries are.
So wherever we are, we got to have some berry bushes.
Grow your own berries. Farm Alarm. She grows blackberries and all these different kinds of berries. If you want to know how to prune them, go to her.
Prune them?
Prune.
We used to live in Prune, by the way.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't.
It sounded like it.
I didn't.
That was cute.
I didn't. Okay. That's all we're going to talk about today.
So you're telling people eat more fruits and lots of berries.
And lots of colors. Because then you're getting lots of varieties.
Hey, thanks for watching. This has been a lot of fun. We hope you're learning with us as we seek more understanding of these foods we love to eat anyway.
We're not professionals. We're just learning.
But knowing what they can do for us, how they can help us, it very much encourages us to keep on eating them.
Keep on. Eat those berries.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, guys.